5 months ago, I took my sopranino, alto and bass recorder, put them away, and I haven't played them since. Why? Well, all for the purposes of this video. Around about 16 months ago, I started learning how to play the soprano recorder and how to read music. I had no idea what I was doing, no prior musical knowledge, but I was hooked on music and the recorder. So after just a few weeks with my soprano, I bought an alto as well. When I began using the alto recorder in my videos, I started to be sent lots of questions along the lines of, how did I make the switch between the soprano and the alto? What method did you use? Doesn't it fry your brain playing F and C recorders at the same time? How long should I have played the soprano recorder before I start with the alto? How do you transpose from a C instrument to an F instrument? How can I get started playing the alto? Do you have any tips? And I really, really wanted to be able to answer all of these questions. I mean, they were questions that I'd had too. But when I thought about it, I realised I didn't have an answer. When I started out with the soprano recorder, I used method books like these, and I worked my way through them slowly, with patience and care. But when it came to the alto recorder, I just kind of went at it. So the answer to how I moved from the soprano to the alto was a mixture of beginner's eagerness and naivety. I realised that I was nowhere near as comfortable playing on the F instruments as I was on the C instruments. I was having to stop to think about what note I should be playing. The whole thing just wasn't intuitive at all. I wanted to be able to do a better job of playing these, and I wanted to be able to give at least some sort of small, helpful answer to everyone who was wondering about moving from a C instrument to an F instrument. And that is why I put them away for 5 months. I wanted to forget on purpose everything that I had learnt about playing F instruments. I realised I needed to approach my alto recorder in exactly the same way that I approached my soprano recorder in the beginning, and that is when I started researching books. I looked into lots of different method books for beginner alto recorder, and this is the one I settled on for several reasons. I mean, obviously I did not choose it because of its glorious front cover. It's really a bit brown, isn't it? On my first glance through, I liked the look of the music in the book. Some of it looks nice and simple, and some of it looks a bit more interesting to keep things interesting. As far as I can tell, it seems to be widely available pretty much everywhere, so hopefully you might be able to get hold of a copy too if it floats your boat. This book has also been in print for years and years, so I don't see why it would go out of print anytime soon, and it obviously is a tried and tested method if it's been around for so long. The latest edition is updated, it's got some new tunes and things like that in there, and it comes with a CD. I love beginner method books with CDs because it just helps move the whole thing along if you've got something to play to. Also, a CD backing track is a good way of checking you're getting things right. I took cost into consideration as well. This book, which looks a fairly comprehensive beginner's guide with 2 CDs, cost $7.99, which I reckon is a bit of a bargain. This video is definitely not intended as a tutorial for how to move between the soprano to the alto. I am not the person to try to pack all of that information into one video, but hopefully it might be helpful if you can see if learning from a book might be the way for you. So I spent 1 week with this book, and the results of that week we are going to see now. Oh, I'm excited. I love a new book, and it has been so long since I played my alto recorder that it has got actual dust on it. So I might go and give this a wash first. So according to the introduction in the book, this is aimed at people who can already read some basics of music, so it's not going to go over all the music reading complete basics like my beginner soprano books did, which is good, and let's get into lesson 1. So we're starting with 3 notes for the left hand, just the same as in most soprano tutors I think, and it is E, D and C. The stretch already feels definitely noticeably bigger from after being on my soprano for so long. So now we've got the fingering diagrams for our first 3 notes. We can play the first song, which is called Mac the Bark. Good start. G, play note A. Keep your fingers in position. Now put the third finger of your right hand on the next hole. Use the diagram to help you. This is the fingering for note G.
Play it.
So far, none of my daily practice sessions have been much to see or hear. Everything's been pretty basic. That's fine, we're starting from the start. But I'm a few days in now, so I thought I'd give you a quick update on where I've got to and how I've got there. So the book began by introducing 3 notes at once to get you started. E, D and C. Then there were a good few little short pieces to get those set in your mind. And for the first couple of days I did struggle with playing alto fingerings and not slipping into soprano fingerings by accident. Since then it's been 1 new note introduced at a time, so after those 3 notes we introduced an A, so we're bringing the right hand into play. So generally the pattern is a new note and then a couple of songs that introduce that new note. And then on the next page there's another note and a couple of songs to get you introduced to that one. So I've been taking sort of 1 note and a couple of new songs as a daily lesson. I've only been trying to spend about 15 minutes a day. I reckon that short, sharp bursts of practice really regularly are going to be key to memorising the fingerings rather than leaving it alone for a week and then doing a mammoth 3-hour session at the weekend. So by day, whatever it is today, these are the notes that the book has taught me. And the music has now started to include some duets, so I thought I would play one of the duets for you. Why not? I do have this book of Sosato dances arranged for 4 recorders, soprano, alto, tenor and bass, and it would be quite nice if by the end of the week, when I need to stop recording this video, if I could play one of them for you. I don't know if I'm going to learn enough notes well enough in time, but we'll see how it goes. Cheerful. I have remembered that earlier this week I said that by the time I need to stop filming this video I would try to play something from my Susato book, arranged for 4 recorders. Today should be the last day that I film any of this video if I want to get it edited and out sometime this century. So I'm going to try something from Sosato, I think. Obviously I've only been going through my treble recorder from the beginning book for a few days, so I'm only a few pages in, but I've got to say that what notes have been covered so far I'm pretty confident with. I see them written on the page and my fingers know what to do. So all I need to do is hope that there is a piece in here where the alto and bass lines only use notes that I've learnt so far. And yes, one does exist. I am going to try C'est Une Dure Despartie. If you'll excuse my terrible French pronunciation, I think it means this is a hard time, a tough time, hard times. French speakers, please do correct me. But more importantly, everything in the alto and the bass line are notes that I have already covered in my treble recorder book this week, all apart from, where is it? 1A, but that's only 1 note. I'm sure I can learn that in time to give this a go. It has been a long time since my poor old bass recorder saw the light of day. I'm looking forward to playing it again though. Though I have just realised that this means I have to read in the bass clef, which I'm not very good at. Oh, this is probably going to sound absolutely dreadful, but why not embarrass myself on YouTube? Not the most musical rendition of Sosato you'll ever hear. There were definitely a few tuning issues, especially from the bass recorder. I'd forgotten how much breath that thing takes. I think I need to get on and practice a bit more. But I was pleased to make it through the piece, and after just a few days spent with the treble recorder from the beginning book, I think this is proof that it is doing its job. I really think the methodical, note by note, lesson by lesson approach from the book is starting to pay dividends already, and it makes me want to carry on going through the rest of the book, which is good. So there we have it. That was my first week with Treble Recorder from the Beginning by John Pitts. I have linked to this book in the description below if you want to go and check it out for yourself. Okay, so beginner's method books like this one aren't going to set your musical world alight. You need to work through them calmly, methodically. Don't move on to the next exercise until you are completely comfortable with the one that you're already on, and all that jazz. But beginner's method books like this one are going to set your musical world alight. They're going to give you all of the basics you need to go on and play all of the stuff you want to be able to play. And for such a little book, I reckon that's a pretty good deal. I am so glad that I shelved my Alto recorder for 5 months and started again from scratch. I definitely feel more confident moving on. I'm definitely going to finish the rest of this book, and hopefully I'll be a happy Alto recorder player going forwards. And of course, once you've got a good grip on the basics, then there is a whole other world of more advanced technique books for the Alto to take you further. If you are a happy player of both C and F instruments, let us know how you got started. If you have any tips, tricks, advice, anything like that, we would all love to know, so please do write it down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. I make a video every week, usually about the recorder, but sometimes about other instruments too. Thank you so much for watching. It would be lovely to see you again next time. Bye!